Revealed is from The Guardian. Revealed! U.S. water likely contains more forever chemicals than EPA tests show. In May 2021, a celebration for Portsmouth, New Hampshire's new $17 million water treatment facility drew local and national officials who declared the city's water free of toxic forever chemicals. Firefighting foam from the nearby Peace Air Force Base had polluted the water for decades with per- and polyfluoroalkyl substances, also known as PFAS. And in recognition of the public health threat, the U.S. military funded the city's new filtration system. Officials said after implementing the upgraded filtration testing no longer found detectable levels of PFAS chemicals in the water. They called the work in Portsmouth a national model for addressing PFAS water contamination. "We are here to celebrate clean water," Senator Maggie Hassan said at the time. But the water may not have been clean after all. Folks, breaking news. A Guardian analysis of water samples taken in Portsmouth and from 8 other locations around the United States shows the type of water testing relied on by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, which, by the way, the Supreme Court basically said the EPA has no power. So I just want to let everyone know, the EPA's way of testing things already garbage, but it's only going to get worse. Factor that into everything we're about to learn. Is so limited in scope that it is probably missing significant levels of PFAS pollutants. The undercount leaves regulators with an incomplete picture of the extent of PFAS contamination and reveals how millions may be facing an unknown health risk in their drinking water. The analysis checked water samples from PFAS hotspots around the country with 2 types of tests. An EPA-developed method that detects 30 types of approximately 9,000 PFAS compounds, and another that checks for a marker of all PFAS. The Guardian found that 7 of the 9 samples collected showed higher levels of PFAS in water using the test that identifies markers for PFAS, and levels found with water with testing using the EPA method, and concentrations as much as 24 times greater. The EPA is doing the bare minimum it can, and that's putting people's health at risk, said Kyla Bennett, a policy director, blah, blah, blah. So I've talked a lot about PFAS on this show. It leads to cancer. A lot of PFAS. Some of it, to my understanding, PFAS is like small percentages of it that you consume will leave your body, when you shit or piss, or vomit or whatever, whatever you, or secreting through your skin or sweat, whatever. But most of it actually stays in your body. A lot of PFAS can get stuck in your organs. It can get inside of your cells, right? It can get inside of, your fucking goddamn mitochondria. Like this shit fucks you up. So anyway, we have a chart here. Water tested by U.S. misses PFAS detected by other test type. So Tucson, Arizona, 2.5 parts per trillion is the EPA test. 59 parts per trillion, total organic fluorine test. So again, you can read this whole article if you'd like. There's a lot of information here. But pretty much everywhere in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, what was used as the opening, 10 parts per trillion, which is not even, it's not even that good, right? Comparison to like the totally free of PFAS bullshit that they were talking about, versus 164. In Michigan, for whatever reason, this one does not function. But as you can see, it's just incredible. It's incredible. I would recommend using filtration systems in your home. They're expensive. But you know what? Living on this planet's expensive. So, now, are home filters going to get out all the PFAS? No. But it's harm reduction. If you can cut out even 20% of PFAS, doesn't sound like that much, but it's harm reduction. Where else are you going to drink water? You're going to drink water from plastic bottles filled with PFAS and also microplastics are found in bottled water significantly. Where else are you going to drink water? Some people say, I don't drink water. I only drink coffee and soda pop. Well, first of all, you're a fucking moron. Second of all, drink some fucking water. I don't know what to tell you. But anyway, you can read the rest of this. The Guardian did like a big analysis of all these places, and you can read the full reports. I don't know why this photo is like the glass is overfilling and the water's falling off the side. I guess that's cool. I don't know. Is that stylistic? But you know, as far as harm reduction goes, and I highly suggest doing your own research. But you know, if you have no water filtration system and you're just drinking tap water, that's probably the worst case scenario. I would say bottled water is better than that. But I would also say if you could get like something like a reverse osmosis filtration system, you know, you can also go like extremely higher grade. You could chain different filtration systems together. You could do like rainwater filtration and fucking, you know. But I would say the sweet spot would be something along the sides of reverse osmosis. Though that kind of stuff does get expensive. But if you are buying bottled water, think about how much bottled water you're buying, how much money you spend per year on bottled water versus what a reverse osmosis filtration system would cost. Just throwing that out there. Think about it. But water is not the only thing that's contaminated with PFAS. PFAS has been linked highly in meat products across the United States. PFAS is everywhere. It's all over the place. It's you know, they've found PFAS chemicals at the top of Mount Everest. Right? So, but PFAS, think about PFAS concentration. Let's say that there's a certain number of PFAS in vegetables and plants that you may be consuming if you're a vegetarian. Now, what do cows and pigs and chickens eat? They eat vegetables, right? But they eat a lot of vegetables over the course of their lives, right? And so now imagine the vegetables you eat, but being concentrated over the course of months or years before they're, you know, immorally and unethically slaughtered for human entertainment. Think about how many PFAS are going to be found. And also think about the fact that plants and vegetables that you eat at the grocery store are more highly regulated than the feed that they give cows, pigs, and chickens and so forth that you buy at the meat shop, right? The feed for those animals is of less quality regulation. As a result, it has higher traces of PFAS. As a result, the PFAS contains in their bodies, as well as, of course, the living conditions do not make, you know, they shit like literally like, you know, we put like cows and pigs in such small containers and crates that they can't even turn around, right? So they're shitting and pissing all over themselves, right? Just think about this, okay, before you go buy meat at the grocery store. Think about how much PFAS is going to be in the average ground beef product that you're going to be buying, or the hot dog, etc. Just think about that. I don't know, man. Like, yes, PFAS is everywhere, but also you can significantly reduce the harm that it's going to do to your body by just being vigilant about what you put inside of your body. So, just throwing that out there. Also, we're fucked.